Welcome back. In this video, I'll be taking the first steps to getting Stubbs, the 1949 Packard, back on the road. This car was nasty when I got it and full of mouse nests and droppings. The first thing I wanted to do was get it cleaned up so that I could safely work inside the car, and I wanted to get rid of that terrible smell. Cleaning it up was a rough job, super gross. Mouse droppings were just literally everywhere. The entire front half of the headliner was nothing but nest and poop, as you can see here in the video. Both of the seats, front and back, were filled as well. It was just gross. Well, I'm back at it here on Stubbs, the 49 Packard Deluxe 8. And here's where I'm at. The interior is basically stripped. I have not taken out the door cards yet. I may or may not. We'll see. But got the floor all the way down to bare metal. The original sound deadener that was on there, the tar paper, was fairly tenacious. So it took a bit of work to get it off, but was able to do that without too much of a problem. There is a little bit of rust on the passenger side front, not too bad. On the driver's side, it's a little worse. So a little rust through the panel here. The right way to do this is to cut out all the bad metal and weld in a new panel. I likely am not going to do that at this point. This car is not going to be headed for a full restoration, so I'll kind of patch what I can, but really the plan is just to move forward. I need to get this thing running, and if I want to fix that in the future, I can easily take the front seat back out, cut and weld, but currently that's not the plan. I also have everything off of the roof. All the sound deadener up there is gone. A lot of surface rust. This is pretty normal for these cars. The sound deadener tends to loosen up over time, and you get a lot of condensation up there that creates a lot of surface rust. So I'm going to get that cleaned up a little bit later today, but my plan right now is to finish cleaning up the floor, and I'll go ahead and just put a layer of paint on it. I will go back through and do some seam sealer on the areas that are okay, and like I said, eventually I'll go back and patch that driver's side floorboard, but not now. I did treat the floor with OSPO, so that's been sitting here for over 24 hours, and everything is all etched and arrested, and according to OSPO's directions, we're going to use an oil-based paint, which in this case is just Rust-Oleum. So first thing I need to do is just wipe off any of the excess OSPO here with some mineral spirits, and then I should be able to go ahead and paint. Getting ready to put some seam sealer on now that we got the floors painted and ready to go. Just used some seam sealer that I picked up off of Amazon, something cheap. It'll be good enough for what I'm looking at. So what I'm doing here, got some seams right down here between a couple of different pieces of metal, around the brace up here. A few other spots. The factory stuff was mostly brittle, it just came right off, so I'm gonna replace whatever I can. First step is some wax and grease remover. Clean the surface here, let that dry for a second, and then we'll go through and put a bead down. I'm not looking for this to be super pretty, I just need it to work. Alright, well that about does it. This floor pan is pretty simple. It's really just one massive piece from the firewall all the way to the back right there. That little step is where the second piece, where the back seat joins up. And along the edges, there's a seam that goes to the panel underneath. the sill plates. That's it. So there's really not a whole lot to seal up here. This car originally came with sound deadener on all the floors and also all the roof. Packard used a tar impregnated cardboard almost, a couple millimeters thick or so, and it covered most every surface down here. Some of it on the floor was still pretty well adhered. You know, the parts on the transmission tunnel, kind of over on the sides and things were decent. Next to the edges is where it was starting to come up from water intrusion, and that's where all the rust was sitting. Now, without sound deadener, these panels have a lot of noise to them. So we're going to go ahead and put new sound deadener down. I am using, this time, a product by Silas, made in Kazakhstan. And this is 80 mil sound deadener, a couple millimeters thick or so. So it's got the butyl backing and a little bit of foil on the top. This we'll put on, and we'll go ahead and hopefully keep this from being too loud. This sound deadener won't do a whole lot for heat, and that's okay. I will be putting down some jute and carpet as well. That should help with this. But the sound deadener is pretty easy to put down. There are a couple other brands out there. Killmat is a good one. Dynamat's kind of the name brand. The stuff I used in the past was by Noiko. I don't think that's even around anymore. But it's pretty simple to deal with here. Basically, you just kind of figure out where you want it to be. You can cut this with scissors, and then when you're ready to apply, you're going to use a little roller like this to push it down so that the little bumps here are gone, and that will help it to adhere. So I'll just kind of play around with this a little bit here. I still have to wait for my seam sealer to dry, so I can't go too close to the edges. But if we just kind of set this up here, I should be able to get a decent idea of where I need to cut this. Like I said, it does cut easily with scissors. It's good to save the scraps as well for any small areas that you need to get. You want your floor to be pretty clean for this as well. Okay. So when you're ready for it, peel the backing off. Position it where you want it, and then we're gonna start pushing this down. And the butyl is very, very sticky, so just FYI. Make a relief cut on both sides. There. All right, so now I can get in there with the roller. And get all the edges nice and flat. Okay. That should be pretty good for that. We'll continue on with this next section here. I more or less have the sound deadener installed on the floor. Now, not every square inch of this needs to be covered. This just acts as a vibration dampener. I did cover what I could, especially the parts that will be exposed with carpet, so that way we have a little bit more of an even surface to it. And I tried to mimic what the original factory sound deadening was like. So at this point, I'm gonna start wrapping things up. There are a few spots like this where the seams squeezed out a bunch of butyl rubber. This is a mess if you walk on it or get it on your pants like that. So as I still have a lot of stuff to do on the inside here, I'm going to go ahead and put some aluminum tape down on some of these seams. I'm not going to do it on all of them. There's a lot of seams here. The Silas brand butyl mats are just individual, so there's a ton of seams. Stuff I used in the past, like Noico, were kind of a trifold, and so there was a lot less seams to it. But I'm going to hit the ones that have butyl showing out like that, so that way I'm not tracking it everywhere and making an absolute mess. Won't be much of an issue once I get the carpet in here and get everything put back together, but in the meantime I'd rather not be tracking rubber all over the place. Moving on to the roof now, I need to get all that rust cleaned off so that it can be painted, and then we'll put on some sound deadener just like we did on the floor. These bows need to come out. These are specific to the spot, so when you take them out, make sure that they go in the correct order. Sometimes they're labeled. I'm not sure if these ones are, but they're going to be coming out. I'll put them in the right order and orientation, get those cleaned up, and install them back when everything's done. Even without a headliner, these bows are going to be helpful to keep the sound deadener in place. You can see it's a fairly tight gap up there, and that should help to keep things from sagging down. But it's going to be a messy job. So to give you a comparison of what sound deadener does, this is the roof, all bare, no sound deadener. And here it is with sound deadening.